All right, here we go. We're going to start here in just a second. Let me get myself loaded in here. Hmm. Where's my... All right, there we are. I'm on the ridiculous account tonight because I'm going to do a bunch of ranked attacks. I like to do his first. And I need to get... I got about 47 minutes until my builder is up. I want to get a little bit more dark elixir so I can start the next level on my Dragon Duke. But mostly, I want to spend some time doing some Root Rider attacks, show you guys a strategy that I use, and go over maybe some of the details on that. Hopefully that'll be helpful for some of you. Um, and if people join and want, I can also visit a couple of bases, see how all you guys are doing with your upgrades. Oh, you know what? Hold on. Before I do any of that, let me put a little note in Discord server. I can't believe I didn't think to do that. Um, whoop, I'm in the wrong server. There we go. Put it right here. Math. So, all right, let me at everybody on that one, even though. All right. Oops, send. Boom. All right. So let's go check this out. You know what I realize in, oh, hold on, let me do this. You know what I realize in reviewing some of the videos that I edit, which is not ideal, is that I say the word and the phrase so all the time. I actually edited out a lot of the videos, and that's just an indication of exactly how much I say it, which is kind of odd to me. But, you know, like everyone's got their little quirks, right? With that said, so let's go check out some ranked battles. So what I'm going to do first is grab a Clan Castle Cake out of here. I haven't gotten any of these rewards yet because I haven't really needed them. Although I guess, yeah, there is tons of Dark Elixir here, so I don't really need to farm urgently. But we're going to use Clan Castle Cake just to make it so I can just like do these over and over and over again real quick. And we'll do these Root Rider attacks in ranked, see how you guys think they shake out. I can answer any questions anyone has, but this is something that has been working for me. Hey, Hemp! How are you, man? Thanks for tuning in. I hope things are going well. I hope everything's okay with on your side of the globe as far as it goes. Um, so this is the army that I use. Let me go ahead and grab those troops. This is the army I use. I find it works really, really well. And Freedom the Pig, welcome on in. Thanks so much for coming in. I find this works really well. I, if I don't make a mistake, and I often do, but if I don't make a mistake, there's really not a Town Hall 17 that I cannot 3-star. I could get a lot of Town Hall 18s, but to be fair, this really isn't a good strategy for attacking Town Hall 18s. But I'm just going to jump into the first battle here, and we'll look at it, then I'll kind of walk through a couple of the steps. Oh, attack. I always forget to do that. Okay, so really what I'm looking for here when I first jump in, and this is a light Town Hall 17, so it shouldn't be a problem. I'm trying to find some value for my RC charge on the corners. I'm looking to take out scatter shots where I can. I got to pay attention to the fire spitters. And it looks like if I come into either one of these outside corners, the left or right, then we can kind of swoop around the bottom part of the base and maybe not take so much damage from the opposite fire spitter. So let's jump in over here and I'm going to use my invises to keep everybody nice and healthy. And when I go to place future invises, I like to cover up structures that are almost down and almost defeated. Oh gosh. I don't know, I misclicked there, so I didn't get that one down very quickly. These are the kind of mistakes that I make. And I want to cover up that RC, otherwise my RC might take her on. And once I get this fire spitter, this will be really good. I'll go ahead and recall. Perfect. Okay, now I'm going to put my queen down here in the bottom, along with the siege barracks, and then I'm going to start the bulk of my attack right here by this air defense. And I really just spam in troops here. I'm going to spam in everything. I've got my stuff set up so I do it in kind of a specified order. Once I get the warden down and the RC down, I'm going to use the overgrowth to kind of keep them directed. And I like to drop an early heal spell, make sure everyone stays healthy, and then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to start the kind of my secondary army to kind of keep the main army on track. So a lot of times I'll use an early king ability, and I may do that right now, and that keeps everyone on track. Once the overgrowth comes off, I'm going to pop the warden ability, and in this case, that's probably a little late, I'm going to pop this RC ability as well. Got to get a totem down. And I didn't drop my headhunters, but we should be okay. I'm going to drop some cleanup troops on the other side here. And that should be like an easy cleanup. So you can see I still got tons of troops. I don't have my heroes maxed right now, although for wars and whatnot, I usually do use a potion on them. We'll drop that last totem, although I probably should drop that totem over here. But it is what it is. All right, so Hemp, you say things are fine. That is really, really good to hear. That is fantastic news, and I'm super happy to hear that. I spend a lot of time contemplating what's going on everywhere, and so know that you and your family continue to be in my thoughts and prayers. That is true for not just you. There's several people who I know are really kind of upset about the present state of affairs, and it impacts them directly. So we'll continue to keep thoughts and prayers to all of those that I'm connected to that are facing that. So there you go. Easy 3-star. So let's go watch the replay on that real quick. Whoops, over here. So my ranked battles in the attack. So in this, and I'll just let it play, really what I want to do on my initial charge is kind of take out a corner, and if I can get a fire spitter, that'll be really good. Then let's fast forward to where I get that taken out. Yeah, and you can see there's no problems with time. Now a couple, I'll say, important things is I didn't use my RC ability. I tend to flip-flop back and forth on that. Sometimes I'll use it at the start of the charge. Sometimes I don't use it until later on. But at this point, you can see there's no structures here in this corner anymore. So we've essentially turned the base into like kind of like a backwards Pac-Man head. And then what we're going to do is in this case, we're going to move counterclockwise throughout the base. To do that, to really do that kind of efficiently, I use the overgrowth here on these structures so that makes the path pretty narrow for the Root Rider army. One of the problems I see people have with Root Riders is they let them spread out too much, and then they don't share as much healing. So the healing gets spread out, and then that causes them to die pretty quickly. So keep those pathways for the Root Rider armies pretty narrow, and everyone can share healing, including the Valkyries. So your Root Riders tank the damage, your healers heal the damage, and then your Valks do the damage. The Warden and some of the other troops are there as support, right? The Warden helps heal, and the balloons are really Coco loons, really just trying to suss out any seeking air mines for your healers. Um, then to keep that kind of funnel going, keep the narrow pathways going, usually the Archer Queen goes on the outside for a little bit, but then further up on the outside, I put down the boulders, the witch, a second ice golem, and then the king, and then that will take care of kind of this corner so that the root rider army doesn't come too far out this way, and again spread out. So that's kind of the theory of it. All right, let's jump into another one. Gigabombs are a tiny problem because heroes have a 30 housing space, so they set them off. Yes, the gigabombs are a relatively new phenomenon for me because I haven't dealt with them too much, but I usually overlook them, and then all of a sudden one of my heroes will go flying, or several of my armies, my troops will go flying, and I'm like, what the heck was that? It's the gigabombs. All right, let's jump into another one. Let me get more troops, and we're going to get into another ranked battle. Okay, so this is technically a Town Hall 18. It looks like it is mostly Town Hall 17 stuff. I've got a fire spitter here on this corner and one kind of in the other corner. So if I don't always like going into a corner with the monolith and a fire spitter and champions or heroes, but I'm gonna do it in this case because why the heck not? Let's test it out. So I'm gonna throw this down. I might have to burn a couple more invis spells than I want to, but let's see what we can do here. I would really love to get this monolith, but I'm gonna chain these together really closely because I don't want to take a bunch of damage. I'm already taking more than I want. And you can see now my RC is chasing after heroes, and that's a problem. Okay, so a decent enough funnel. Let's recall. So I've got this kind of corner taken care of. Let's put my queen down here, and I'm going to fire off her arrow right away, and then I'm going to start the bulk of my army here. Now I'm going to show you guys one of the tricks that I like to use, and that is I'm going to drop the first several groups of troops, but when I do my Valks, I'm going to start them back here, and the reason I do that is so that they're less likely to split. Oh, I've already lost my queen. I wasn't really paying attention. Oh, she probably ran into that Inferno Tower. So I'm a little late on several things there, and that's probably going to cause at least a minor problem. But we'll deal with that. So now I don't have the queen coming in here to take this stuff out. I think the problem is that I can't do more than one thing at a time, and I'm trying to talk and attack, and I'm not doing a good job of either. But let's see here if we can rally the troops, as they say. Let's put this down. I have lost the RC as well. Where's my king? I did put the king down, right? Where'd he go? Oh, there he is. He's stuck on a wall. I should, if I would have realized that earlier, I would have used his ability. In this case, I'm late on everything. Alright, so let's use his ability. I put down the headhunters that will hopefully take care of the minion prince. There he goes. So one of the things about this attack that people don't realize is it's really quite forgiving. It is so incredibly strong that I did that pretty terribly all around, and yet still it's kind of an easy 3-star. You can see how many troops I have left. So it's a really, really forgiving strategy. All right, let's try this again. Let me get some more troops. Ranked battle. A lot of times I do these ranked battles without any CC troops, just because I don't want to go through the time of waiting the 10 minutes in between request time. All right, so you can see the fire spitters are a little more difficult in this one. I am going to come into this corner here with the RC charge. Hopefully that will not only help me get this fire spitter here, but then I can start my attack here along the top side and wrap around to get behind the second fire spitter. Therefore, I'd avoid a lot of damage. Let's see what we can do here. I'm going to hold off on my first invis. And now that the fire spitter is starting to chunk at me, we'll put down an invis. Gonna put down another one to skip over that mortar. We're on the fire spitter, maybe? Yep, okay. And now everything else that we can get is kind of gravy. And then we're gonna get ready to recall here. Let's recall. Boom, really good. Okay, that's exactly how I wanted it to go. Let's put my queen down in the top corner here. We'll fire off her arrow, and then we will just immediately start this. Dumping everything in here. Valkyries right here. Oop, did I put them all down? Did not. All right, let's go ahead and use an early totem on that. That was probably a bit premature, and then we're gonna freeze up this stuff. So hopefully the troops can get kind of quickly to that fire spitter. There's a Giga Bomb knocking everybody back, and now we'll start the second side army. I'm gonna pop my RC's ability, and we got that fire spitter down. So we are in really good shape here, although my RC has kind of gone a little rogue. Hopefully when this stuff comes up, I can... Oh, they're out of the heal range. I thought I could get my main army to start heading south, and that would have helped him out, or helped her out, I should say. We're going to pop the king's ability to help the main army around this corner a little more quickly, head to the town hall, and now we're just going to put some cleanup troops. Oh, there are some heroes right there that I should have been paying attention to, and I could have put down my headhunters. And boom, another easy 3-star. You see I got plenty of time left. This is easy. So most of my troops are max level for Town Hall 17. My heroes are pretty lagging. My RC is max for Town Hall 17, but everything else is pretty low, especially my king and my queen. So is this lagging for you guys? I don't know. It looks like it's maybe lagging on my screen a little bit. I apologize for that. I have been having some technical difficulties with my Wi-Fi, and so that may persist, to be quite honest. Yeah. All right, let's go again. So far we're 3 for 3. I don't typically go perfect, and I also don't really want to go perfect this round because I don't want to go up a level where I'd have more attacks to do each week. But I can always stop at like 99% or something like that. All right, let's check out these fire spitters. So again, if I come in on this corner over here, and hopefully I can get that fire spitter, then I can start my main army down here, and they would wrap around behind the second fire spitter. That would leave the monolith to the end, which sometimes is kind of helpful, actually, because you have like a big convergence of your army. So let's do that. Let's come in this way and see if we can't get to that fire spitter. So with the Expo on me, I'm going to go ahead and kind of be quick to drop the invis spell, and we're right on to that fire spitter. Drop another invis and another. I usually count about 3 or 4 shots from my RC before I drop the next invis. If I can get, I was hoping I could get the scatter shot, but I can't. Let's go ahead and invis before that poison takes hold. Now this might be weird. I don't know if is my archer queen? Yeah, she's kind of fire wonky. I thought if I rushed it, that might be helpful, but it was not. Let's use that to protect her, and we'll start our main army over here. I got a pretty good funnel. Now I'm going to start my Valkyries way back here. They will catch up pretty quickly. So here we go with this. Did my queen fell anyway. Oh gosh, I wasn't paying close enough attention. Let's go ahead and do that up here, and we will go ahead and put a heal spell down here and throw in. Oh, that's already dead. Okay, so things are happening really quickly, so let me just put these guys down over here. And then we're gonna kind of watch for this monolith to start firing. And when the overgrowth effects wear off, I'll use the warden ability, and then when the monolith starts firing, I'll drop a totem. That totem melted. Didn't get a lot of value out of that, to be quite honest. We're going to go ahead and pop the king's ability to kind of speed up getting to that monolith. That's the big problem right now. But I still have a pretty healthy RC, so that's really good. Okay, and with the multi archer tower firing the other way, we can drop some troops here to do cleanup. Oh no. Oh, I didn't realize that was a Tesla right there. I was not paying attention. So those headhunters really didn't do anything. So the headhunters are pretty good for this is a great question, Freedom the Pig. So when do I use the headhunters? So typically I use them in two scenarios. If I'm really on my game, which I'm not right now because I'm trying to talk while I'm doing this, I kind of look at the base ahead of time and kind of plot where I can take out the enemy minion prints, or if there's other heroes that are kind of by the edge of the base, I'll try to plan to include those headhunters to help take those heroes out. That would be once my main army has been deployed. But a lot of times they're kind of those heroes might be centrally located, and so it's kind of hard to get to them. In that case, a lot of times I'll hold on to the headhunters and use them for cleanup, to be quite honest. They're pretty fragile troops, so if you send them in too early and they run past your main army, or if they just take some splash damage that's aimed at your main army, they die pretty quickly. So a lot of times I end up using them for cleanup, and they're pretty decent at that, but they also help steer the army and take out heroes that are too close. Let's see if I can't focus that here on this next one and give you a better example. Okay, so if I look at this, I'm first looking at the fire spitters. This one's going to be a little tricky to get to because the fire spitters and that monolith are right in the middle. However, that's usually where I put down my overgrowth. You can see here I've got an archer queen near the edge. So as and I've got, what is that, an RC right there? Yeah. So as my army comes this way, I will try to remember to put my headhunters in. But let's start off with a RC dive right here, or charge, whatever you want to call it. And we're going to cover that up. Get the RC moving this way in general. I'd love to get onto that Inferno Tower. And boom, there we are. Although I think I'm going to leave that multi-archer tower. There we go. Got it. Okay. Got a couple of invises left. I can get to the scatter shot, which is really nice. And I did just take out that Inferno Tower, so let's recall. I got a lot of damage onto my RC there, but that should heal up if I do it properly. So we're going to come back here and start the bulk of our army. Drop the Root Riders, Warden, Balloons, and the healers. I'm going to put, oh, this could be a little bit wonky with my Valkyries. Let's put them in there. I hope they don't split off on that. Yeah, see those guys splitting off there. Put in our RC and let's get our overgrowth down. That overgrowth is not exactly where I wanted, but I zoomed out a little too far. We're going to pretty quickly move into getting these troops down while the bulk of my army's up there. And then headhunters, like I promised, let's watch the headhunters. See, the headhunters are right there, and they are going to get onto this king, which is helpful. But you can see, and they're already pretty much dead. Overgrowth comes down, so let's heal up my troops. We're going to use the king's ability to kind of round that corner of the base. We got a freeze on stuff because of that, one of the ice golems. And now my troops are starting to take out this core. This minion prince is a problem, but it looks like my queen got him. And there's an invis tower right there that's probably going to go off. Yeah, that causes a problem as well. But that'll be alright, because I got a ton of my army left. And they'll all come circle back around. So again, really, really powerful. Boom. So I hope that, Freedom, I hope that answers your question. It wasn't a great example. Again, I can't, if I'm on my game and I'm really focused, I can do it a little bit better and more quickly. But as I'm trying to show you guys things that are going on during the attack, I'm not as quick to pick up what's going on. All right, this is a different base, so it's spread out a bit. Where's the town hall? Am I looking at it? Oh, it's right there. Okay, so this was a town hall 16, so it won't have any fire spitters. So I like looking at scatter shots next, so I can take out a scatter shot here. The middle of the base is going to be a little bit of a pain, but we're gonna dive in right here. We'll put down an early invis. Yeah, we're gonna walk around to this. This is going to be a little bit awkward, but we'll get to the scatter shot and that multi-archer tower. And you can see about every third shot from my RC, I put down a new invis. Now I'm gonna put back this one off a little bit, make sure I get that scatter shot. I don't move too far forward. And that's it on my invisibilities. So let's go ahead and recall. Okay, so I got that corner. So then we're gonna come up here to this top corner, throw that down. Then we're going to start our main army back here. Now look, I got the minion prince right there, so I'm going to throw these headhunters in pretty quickly. So you'll see, I already lost. Put my Valks back here, and let's put in those headhunters. That's worth it, even though they won't really survive that. We're going to put our overgrowth here. Oh, we already got, oh, those are my, so those are the headhunters. Now they're going after the king. They won't really survive that, but that's okay. Put down an early heal spell here, and you know what we're going to have to do? We're going to have to break right in here to take out this scatter shot and that ricochet cannon. Those would have caused a big problem had we left them. So, oh no, I just lost my RC. So this one's going a little sideways. Let's drop a totem spell there and a totem spell over here to help us pick up some of this stuff. But yeah, a little bit of a sideways one. I don't know where it went wrong because I wasn't really paying attention. Drop some cleanup troops over there. We should still be okay. I don't even know what took out. Oh, I guess my RC probably took out the town hall. But we're probably going to time fail here, which is kind of ironic. We're going to our first fail of the night is going to be on a town hall 16. Although I don't know, they're moving pretty quickly, and I still got Diggy to stun the monolith. So, man, I guess we'll probably still 3-star. My king is all the way back here doing nothing. So I'd have to go back and watch that replay. I don't really know exactly where it went wrong, but my troops split, my army split. That was not good. Typically, I would have wanted them to kind of continue around that. In this case, we were going counterclockwise again, and all stick together, but we had some people split off. That happens because I wasn't doing it right, and I had to. It was probably because I used that king ability where I did, and then the king probably circled back around clockwise instead of counterclockwise. Let's go look. Whoops, I keep doing that. So if we watch this replay, so to get this in this, I put the king down over here, and I immediately used his ability, and I'm betting he came back around this way, which kind of made the tanking and whatnot over here a little wonky. So it left like a wide piece of base over here, and my troops kind of split up there. Let's test that theory out. So I was really happy with the RC charge here. That was really good. Got a lot of value on that and set up a really good funnel. But then because, okay, let's pause here. So the giant didn't, a lot of times the giant will barge through the walls, but because there was a bunch of other defensive structures here, he leads the queen kind of around this, and then I have the troops from the siege barracks going to the top. So that left these two structures that weren't going to get focused, and I did recognize that. And so I put my king down. First, I think I dropped the heal spell here. And then I put the king down to deal with that, right? Now, what does the king do after this? So you can see there's not a lot of tanking up here or anything that busts through the walls. And then there's like a big spread. So I've got, here, I've got a big chunk of my army here in the middle. I got my RC, I think is over here somewhere. We'll look. And then I've got several of the root riders splitting off this way. So this is not what you want at all, really. So that means these root riders, if they stay on this path, are going to die because they're not going to get any healing. Because all the heals are going to stay here with the main army. And then I do lose my my RC pretty quickly. Oh, so that's why we couldn't see her, because she had just went down, but because of Phoenix, she stays long enough. Yeah, these guys die and don't get a lot of value from them at this point. Any damage that they're doing is being healed up by that builder hut. Now my main army continues to the south, and now this is kind of a coherent army. It's all kind of together, and it's all sharing the healing. So that this is what enables the 3-star to continue to happen. So there you go. That's why this attack kind of stunk, but the army and the attack is so strong it kind of really doesn't matter. So I still got, what is that, 2 root riders left to tank up, and I still had my queen and my king. My king would have gotten there eventually, probably in a couple days, but yeah, having the queen there and some root riders to lead the way is really, really helpful. All right, so we are sitting at, what is that, 5, 6, 6 perfect stars. Also, my base is really rushed, so I don't do well on the defensive side of things. That's okay. I'll catch that up here over the next month or so. But let's go again. All right, so this looks like a okay Town Hall 17. Where are the fire spitters? Does it have fires? Yeah, okay, there's the fire spitters. Okay, so this is one where I would love to, I think I'm going to dive in right here in this little notch. And then we will start our attack kind of up here on this side, and we will wrap around and come in on the back side of this second fire spitter. So let's do it. So right onto that first fire spitter, I like it. And there's 2 heroes right there, but usually your RC will ignore them as long as they're not doing damage to him. But once they do damage, I keep saying him to her. So it took out the enemy minion prince. That's not terrible value, but let's go ahead and just recall. I would have loved, if I would have been better, we could have got that multi-gear tower, or whatever kind of tower that is. So let's start this over here. We're going to start our main army right on that tower. We're going to spam in all of our troops, including our RC, and then let's go ahead and get... Now, I've got to put this over here a bit so that my army doesn't split. And then I would really love... Yeah, this is one of those times where I kind of wish I had a wall breaker, but I don't. I don't usually bring a wall breaker with me. Let's go ahead and we're gonna go ahead and pop the RC ability, and then once that overgrowth comes down, we're gonna go ahead and pop everything else. Where's my king? Why am I losing my king so much? Where'd he go? Is that... Oh, he's over here. So he and... Let's go ahead and pop his ability. Yes, nice, perfect. He and my root riders kind of switched places. That was not very well done. And then we can put some cleanup troops over here, including, let's go ahead and drop the headhunters. All right, nice. So we are halfway through our ranked battles, and we are perfect 3 stars every time. And again, this is done with this army that I don't have max heroes. I'm not using potions on them right now. I have mostly max troops for my level. I think the ice golems are undervalued, and probably the bowlers and the witch, if I'm and the archers. But the archers are really just kind of meant to clean up. But I think everything else is max for my town hall level. So we will do, I don't know, let's do like 5 or so more of these and see how they go. All right, Town Hall 15. This should really be easy, even if I mess it up. Now, there's one thing of note here is that there is a big gap to that core. So that core will actually be a little bit tricky to get to, and I'm going to show you how we handle that. So what I'm going to do is I am going to, let me see how I want to do this. Instead of diving the corner, I am going to dive one of these edges. And I will explain why when I'm done. Ooh, and of course I picked the edge with all the hidden Teslas. Okay, but this is fine. Okay, and so I want to clean out one of these edges, and that'll all make sense here in a moment. If I can stop stumbling over all of the traps. Okay, I got one more invis. This would be a nice... get a pretty decent amount of value on this. And let's recall. Okay, now what I'm going to do is instead of starting my queen on a corner, I'm going to start her on this opposite edge and start these guys here. And what that should do, and let's throw our bowlers here. And what that's going to do is it's going to kind of take out this compartment. So then I can start my main root rider army here, and they will funnel towards the middle. Yeah, so now the only place for them to go will be up here in the middle, and I'm actually going to overgrowth this back here, and now we come into the middle. Now, that invis is pretty solid, but it's not going to last long enough to deter them for very long. Although that ice column did. Oh, I probably should have sent in these guys. Okay, I'm getting distracted here. Let's put some of these guys down and see if we can't get to the monolith next. Let's put down this. And this, and I keep forgetting to put in the headhunters. I'm putting them in way back here, and let's go ahead and pop the king's ability so we can get right at that monolith. And then I don't have a lot of army left. They kind of got fried in the middle because I was really late in deploying a bunch of stuff. but still, this attack is so strong, and I executed all the important stuff really well, so I still end up with the 3-star. So you can see at the end here, I have some Valkyries, which is important, and mostly heroes. That's it. That's all I had left. But that's all I needed. Now, it was also a Town Hall 15 base, so, you know, is what it is. It's a pretty good base design, though. I like that. I might have to watch this back and steal that base design. I imagine that does give some people fits. If you've seen my my war base, it's a similar concept. Let me pull up my war base, which I got this from, I don't remember who I stole it from, but it's the same concept. I've got all this stuff here in the middle. It's much harder to get to the middle than people realize, unless they're really paying attention. So inevitably, again, my base is very rushed, very, very rushed. Inevitably, someone from the opposing team will take it out no problem, but it typically trips people up because all these walls look like there's stuff connecting the outside loop to the inside loop, but there's really nothing kind of connecting those things. So there you go. Now you know. The more you know, the more you know. All right. Town Hall 18. It looks, well, yeah, it's not a bad 18. It looks like it was a maxed 17. So this one is going to be awkward because I want to dive, but the way the fire spitters are laid out, I want to dive this way, but I can't. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of that hit up front. So I'm going to dive this corner for now. I'm going to hold on to an invis for now until I get a little closer over here to that ricochet cannon. Okay. And then we're going to go, hopefully we can get onto that. And we're going to, yeah, take that Giga Bomb right in the face. And then, where are we going here? Oh, lots of bombs. Oh, that's going to be it. I'm cooked. I'm going to go ahead and recall early because I really don't want to lose my RC. Did I recall? Did I not? Oh, no. I thought I had dropped it, but I didn't. Oh. Okay, this is probably going to be a fail, but that's okay. That is okay. We can learn stuff from this, namely to make sure that my recall actually dropped. All right, let's still see what we can do here. Now I got to drop my Valks way back here, and again, they will catch up to the main army. This keeps them from splitting. I don't have anything else to drop in here. Should I? You know what? I'm going to drop my king in here to help with the damage, and then let's overgrowth this stuff back here. Oh, I didn't want to overgrowth the monolith, but that's okay. Oh, did I drop? So instead, that's what happened. I dropped my heal spell instead of my recall. Oh, this is bad. This is really bad. Okay, let's drop that there. I gotta heal up my Archer Queen a little bit, and once that overgrowth drops, I'm gonna, there we go. But I might still be able to pull this off, but it's a little bit dicey. Let's see if I can get some cleanup troops around this side. Oh, this has gone completely pear-shaped. By the way, this is about the norm, right? Like I do this at least every once in a while where I just like completely misclick stuff and butcher it, but it looks like I'm still going to be able to pull off the 3-star. So that's fortunate. This was not a well-run attack, but again, who needs a well-run attack when you can have a 3-star attack? Am I right? I think this speaks to the strength of Root Riders and Valkyries. How much time do I have? I got 2 minutes until I can start upgrading my Dragon Duke. All right, so far, let's see, through 9 out of my 14 attacks, completely perfect down this left-hand side. Even with a couple of really butchered attacks, like not very well executed, but still, they still made it. Let's do a few more. I'm probably going to save a couple because again, I don't really want to promote to the next ranked level because I don't want to have to do more attacks every week. So I'll probably just save a couple of those attacks and not use them. I'll use them to farm or something. Let's see here. This looks like another one that would be good to kind of loop counterclockwise. So we're going to take out this corner here. Even if I don't get to this fire spitter, that's where we'll drop our main army. So I'm okay if I don't quite get to that. Let's drop invis there. Now I should get over to this multi-archer tower. Nice. And we'll stop there now. I think my RC is going to end up going the opposite way. And that's okay. I don't need to get to the fire spitter. I do want to keep my RC safe from taking a lot of damage though, and that is getting increasingly difficult as I just got every bomb. And nice, I get that tower too. So this works out really, really well. We'll drop our queen over here, siege tower. And now I'm going to do the same thing that I've been doing with these Valkyries where I'm going to drop them really deep. Okay, this is not the way I wanted them to go. I should have waited until some of these other things were taken out. So my army has split a little bit more than I wanted them to. But they are coming back together. But I think this group is going to go now clockwise. Yeah, this is a problem. Let's drop. So this is not ideal, but we can repair it because again, this army comp is so strong. So let's go ahead and now the problem is that I got this army, which is my main army, taking damage from 3 sides, and that becomes a really big problem. We're going to go ahead and pop the king ability so that we can try to help them out. Let's put in the headhunters to take out that minion prince, and I think we're going to be okay. But yeah, this was bad. This would fall under the category of not really doing it right. But like I said before, who needs a good attack when you can have a 3-star attack? If you get the basics right, the rest will take care of itself. So even though that went sideways in the army split, because the main bulk of the army stayed together and all the healing was on that army, and I had the ability to adjust and kind of keep that pathway narrow for the main army, it was fine. All right, I got a heal or a builder ready. We're gonna go ahead and upgrade our Dragon Duke. I'm trying to get him to max at this level. I haven't really been paying him much attention yet. Dragon Duke is a pretty cool hero. I like that he's very different than most everything else. He does seem pretty powerful right now. I wonder how long he'll stay that powerful. All right, so that's perfect through 10 attacks. That doesn't typically happen for me. I'm not typically able to, with my ADHD, focus through 10 attacks and stay perfect all of them. I usually make some mistakes, and I have made some mistakes tonight, but I've been able to recover from them. All right, Town Hall 17, big gaps here, which can kind of make it easy. Fire Spitter, is it just the one Fire Spitter? I'm not missing another one, am I? Well, then that makes this decision pretty darn easy. We can get a really, really, really large funnel here. And let's just not overthink it. Let's just do this. So I'm not going to even use an invis yet, probably until that expo kicks in, which is right now. Oh, what? Oh, I accidentally covered up. Oh gosh, I accidentally covered up that wizard tower. And so that causes a small problem, but again, we can recover. So the structure of the attack remains the same. We're still going to, I just want to take out that expo. There we go. Okay, the structure of the attack stays the same. We're going to come over here. We're going to drop our queen. We're going to drop our main army right here. We are just going to have to kind of offset our overgrowth spell a little bit, and that's totally fine. The CC troops are going to cause us a small amount of problems. So instead of getting this overgrowth really deep, I'm going to set it back a little bit. And then we're going to put a heal up here, so as my troops move this way, they will heal up. Okay, so we are back on track here a bit anyway. Let's watch this main army. And I don't want my RC to get too far ahead, so I'm going to pop her ability. And I can probably drop these headhunters. But we're going to take over. I'm going to pop the king's ability, kind of round that corner, help the troops take out all the structures in that corner, and we are now Gucci. I can even use my archers to clean up these things back here, and I can use the headhunters to help clean up this corner. So really minor mistake, ends up being a minor mistake. Could have been major depending on the base. I still think I would have been able to recover, but dropping early on, I dropped that invis spell and it covered up the wizard tower as well, and that caused my RC to go a different way than I was anticipating. Again, so typically, let's go look at that real quick. So what I was hoping for, we'll let it start. What I was hoping for was to come up this way, take out that, take out this, and then depending, well, she probably would have come here, and then I could have covered that up. So I could have forced her in here. And if I could get here, that's really, really good, or maybe even get to this this poison tower. But if I can do that, then I can drop my overgrowth spell kind of almost right on the town hall, and it covers up all of this stuff. But because I had like this weird kind of connection, I had to offset it a little bit, so I couldn't drop it mostly in the center. I had to drop it a little bit off center, but you can see it still worked out. We just missed the mistake too, but well, you guys can rewind and watch it if you want. All right, let's see. So that puts us perfect through 11 attacks. We're going to do one more attack and see if we can't go perfect on that. And that will be perfect for the night, and that will put us, what place are we in right now? We're in 7th. I don't think one more will put us in 1st. Yeah, we're too far away, and that's fine. Again, for those who may just be watching this now, I don't really want to finish in the top 20. And typically, if I don't go perfect on my attacks for all 14 of them, then my defensive side is so kind of wimpy that and so rushed that I won't finish in the top 20. And that's what I want. I want to stay kind of right where I am and do 14 attacks a week. I don't want, what's the jump up? If I go to the next league up, I have to do 18 battles a week, and I just don't want to do that. So let's do this one last attack. Try to go perfect on it as well. And then we'll call it a night. Ooh, okay, Town Hall 18. Oh, and these guys are upgraded. This is going to be a really tough base. Again, I would like to... Ooh, it's going to be tough because I don't know if I can get onto this fire spitter. I think there's too many things in the way, but then I could kind of start down here on this revenge tower and wrap around and get behind this one. So that's what we're going to try. We're going to come this way. This is going to be a tough one. I don't think I have quite the ability, although maybe. Let's see here what I can do. So I'm close. Oof. There we are. We're on the fire spitter. This is really, really good. I didn't think I'd be able to get in here. Oh, I put that back a little too far. Can I get that Inferno Tower? Am I getting greedy? Yes, I'm getting greedy. Ooh, maybe I can take that out with the Queen's Arrow. No, missed it. That was bad. I shouldn't have rushed that Queen's Arrow, but I didn't want it to heal. Oh, and I didn't do a siege tower. Oh, I misclicked, fat-fingered all over the place. This is bad. This is officially a terrible attack, and it's probably going to cost me. Let's drop this other thing here, and if I can quickly get... Oh, gosh, what a frickin' train wreck. I'm going out really, really bad here. All right, let's get down our archers, or not archers, our Valkyries. I got to get this overgrowth down as well. Let's get the heal spell on the main army. We got to back up here and get some of these guys down because I didn't do a very good job at the beginning. I've got essentially one totem spell. I'm going to try to take the heat from that fire spitter off my main army. We're going to have to pop the king's ability. We're going to pop everything. So we are in dire straits here. This started off with like a simple mistake, and then I compounded all the mistakes, and you can see I don't really have an army left. I've got some remnants of an army, but it's bad. This will definitely not be a 3-star, which makes me sad because this was a very the potential to 3-star this base definitely existed, but I butchered it, and you can see my queen's gonna fall. Or that wasn't my queen, my RC. Now everyone's dying to that monolith. I tried to save my queen early, and I burned another totem spell. It was just bad all around. Really, really bad. Lots of mistakes made. I'm sad. I'm sad that I made those. You know, you guys have seen me. If you're watching all these, I've made kind of several mistakes over the course of several attacks, but it was like one mistake per attack. This one I made numerous mistakes. We can drop these guys to take out the hero hall, but that's about all we can get after that. Yeah, I'm sad. I really wanted to 3-star this town hall 18, but this is a good lesson. Let's go back and look at it. Why do I keep clicking on the wrong thing? So several mistakes made. I did get a little bit greedy with my dive, and that's not in and of itself the end of the world. I was really happy with my dive that I got to this fire spitter. Now, if I would have just cooled my jets, I got extra greedy and tried to get this Inferno Tower as well. So let's watch. So I almost have the Inferno Tower, but if I stay too much longer, this monolith is going to kill me. I should not have stayed, but it's on. Look at that. It's on 1 health. Now I rushed. If I just place my queen on this building instead of this building over here, it's an easier shot. I can also get it off this building if I wasn't rushing, but I was rushing because I was assuming that that was going to get healed up. The irony is I don't think there's anything to heal it. So I didn't even really need to rush. I could have just taken my time. But what that did was it put my queen in an awkward spot where this distance between where I want to start my army, which is back here, because I gotta you know, kind of sweep through and get all of these defenses. And the distance between that and my queen is really large. And then I fat finger. This was probably the more critical error. So I went to select my siege machine. Let's see, and you can see it like happened really quick. I almost like double tapped, and I didn't put down a siege barracks. So now there's no delay in my Valkyries coming out here or my giant, and so they just get kind of, and I don't get the P.E.K.K.A.s that come with it, so there's a lot that goes on with that. Then in my panic, so I start my army over here, but in my panic I come back to try to save my queen, but it's too late. I should have just let her die at this point, but I invest an ice column, which that didn't work, and I try to get down that totem, but it's too late. I drop the totem right as the queen dies, so that's a waste of a totem. And then I don't have that ice golem to tank for my second mini army, or I don't know what you'd call it. So just a comedy of errors, and then yeah, bad, really bad. So then I also don't have that totem to tank for the monolith later. So yeah, all of this comedy of errors that just happened rapid fire, all because I got greedy on one Inferno tower that probably would not have really made the difference in the attack if I would have just been sane. And then I also didn't think, I mean, I've got a hero right there. What is that? That's a warden. So I don't. Wardens aren't typically good defensive hero, but whatever. I could have dropped my headhunters there and taken that out, but by this time I was already flustered, and I was trying to figure out if it was even remotely possible that I could rally. But so my king takes a ton of damage because there's no, excuse me, because there's no ice golem to tank for him, and so he dies really early. So this was just a train wreck, all because, I mean, all stemming from the fact that I got greedy on that Inferno tower. So all right, but lessons learned, don't get greedy. That was a very 3-starable base. I think if my plan was really good and I got to that one fire spitter, and yeah, if I would have just done normal stuff after that, it would have been fine. All right, but that is it for tonight. I hope you guys learned something. If not, leave me feedback. Let me know what you want to see, or what still doesn't make sense. I will tell you, if you can learn this attack, you'll crush. I mean, you guys can see, even with a lot of the mistakes that I made, except for that last one where I made too many mistakes all at once. Um, but I made lots of mistakes throughout the night and still 3-starred a lot of bases. So, all right, but that's it for tonight. Thanks so much for tuning in. Peace out, and we will talk to you guys soon.